Yeah. No. 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 No.
as a game manager, Let's see here. 35 missing semicolon before star. Well, that makes no sense. That makes more sense. Oh, my mic input volume. Okay, well, let's see if I can fix that. Oh, okay, so my audio output capture. I am too low. Well, that's interesting, because I should be, let's see here, bump this to, say, 5 decibels. How's that? That should be a lot closer to normal. Huh? Was that enough of a bump? Let's see here. A little bit. Well, let's go nuts. Oh, that's 100 decibels. No. Let's go with 15. How's that? 15? Yeah, that should be a lot. Music by half. Okay. Well, this music is definitely a little more aggressive than I thought it would be right now. I look for funk, and this is not. All right, great. If you have any questions, ask away. I am trying to figure out why this code ChatGPT dumped on me does not work. Which, yeah, which it should. Interesting. What's this here? How should you start coding? First figure out what you want to build. So, let me get Affinity Designer out. So let me talk a little bit about how I would start coding. Yeah. Oh, so you want to build in verse. How do you start verse coding? Okay. Okay. Well, that is actually a very, like, my recommendation for you is that you take, let's see here, your channel. this tutorial right here, to which I will post a link in the various chats. My initial coding in Fortnite tutorial. So, yes. All right. Well, let's update everything while I'm at it. So this tutorial right here, I'm not going to go through the whole tutorial right now, because that's really what this whole video is about. Is it starts with, man, I look goofy, but I made this thing last year, and the whole point of this tutorial was helping people move from working in Fortnite Creative to working in UEFN. No, I would recommend, if you are if you're already used to building in Fortnite, that you just start learning with Verse. Start with learning Verse, because Verse is a pretty simple, like you're making Fortnite maps, right? It's a good step, because when you look at what Verse does and how it does it, you will find that you're kind of familiar with a lot of the tools and how the tools work and how the various devices. Because Verse has a slightly weird way of managing the way you program, but it definitely allows you to start learning to program using, so I go through a little tutorial here on how to how to get bosses to give coins, which you might be able to do without code in UEFN and Fortnite Creative, but the best way I knew how to do it was to just write a little code that linked these two devices. And so if you just start with this tutorial, it gives you a little start on how to work with Verse and UEFN. Yeah, so here you've got it. It sort of talks about what the way, sort of the logical progression you want: input, boss defeated; logic, find handled player; and then output, grant player coins. And so it talks about how this whole chunk of code works. And this video here is my attempt to make a full tutorial for you. Right. I mean, there are several ways to learn programming. The way that I actually think would be really smart in this case, and I mean, I'm not tooting my own horn, but my the video I built to sort of address the start of this problem was this: how to and this sort of should give you a lot of the basics on how to program. At least it talks you through writing the first simple code you can write. And maybe you'll have questions. If you have questions about it, and it doesn't fulfill what you're curious about, I mean, I might need to make another tutorial based on that one. Yeah. but still, my recommendation would be to start, pick something you want to make, and then start doing tutorials on how to make that um, involve programming. Um, so this just talks you through how to build a red versus blue map with a few extra bells and whistles. Um, and and the way that programming kind of works, okay. Oh. Um, um, what button does what and that? Yes, there's a lot of, it doesn't matter what programming language you're in, there will always be a lot of sort of domain specific knowledge that you end up. Yeah, I kind of understand. How, like, um, yeah, so um, if you're looking at a chunk of code in VS Code, one second. Oh. Um, so this is, for example, well, this is not the best example because this is straight up code in Visual Studio Code. Wow, this is a mess. Um, um, wow, this is really all right. So, if you've got, say, this code file, which, I don't know what's going on here with this project. It has major problems. I haven't opened UEFN in a while. But if you're trying to learn to program and you look at this file, and this file is actually pretty complicated. Let's find a less complicated file. This one is a little less complicated. Man, the you've got what looks like a logical file, and you've got a begin, a setup axis, a test rotation, and a rotate prop block it. So what I always tried to do in my videos was show how I approach a problem logically by defining what I want as an input and what I want as an output, and then talking about how the path goes from point A to point B. And figuring out how to make that path from point A to point B is really what programming is about. And there's a lot of domain knowledge required for that kind of thing, where you need to know, for in UEFN, for example, you need to know how to, which includes you need, and which devices you want to inherit from. So in UEFN, everything is done by inheriting from specific devices that are part of UEFN's general general libraries. But when you say, I want to learn to code, oh wow, this is going to need to download forever. What you're asking is kind of a an odd question because learn to code is it's a massive task. Yeah. You know, I'm trying to stream pretty regularly, and there aren't a lot of people here. So if you watch the video and then come back and ask questions and have questions for me, you're welcome to do that. You know, questions any day. I can answer whatever you want. I've been programming for like 30 years, maybe a little more. So when you get to the point where you have sort of figured out what the kind of program, what kind of code, what kind of project you want to build, and you've reached the point where you have roadblocks, and you kind of like you kind of need some help pushing this direction or that direction, you're welcome to come back and ask. You know, that's all I can say, because if you say, how do I learn to code? Start by copying some code that does most of what you want, and then change it just a little to do a little bit differently what you want it to do a little bit more of what you want it to do, and then run into a bug and fix it, and run into a bug again, and it's a dialectic process, like learning anything is in a lot of ways. Yeah, where you make an error and then you fix the error, then you make the error again, and you fix the error again. You know, I think that's how everybody learns to code. In reality, you know, like they're, hey, look, my build worked like it should have. All right, great. No changes detected. Yeah. Anyway. And then we run it. And now four people. Oh, I broke it. What did I do? Okay. Running a build that supposedly worked. All right. Yeah, well, I don't know that I've ever seen a perfect programming environment, but I gotta tell you, some of them are perfectly frustrating. Yeah. Oh well. What happened here? Restore player start. What? Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. I might need to do a clean rebuild. I'm not sure. That's weird. Honestly, UEFN is a really nice piece of equipment. I am very impressed with UEFN, just in general. Let's see, levels, mini test level. And here we go, and play. All right, great. So the problem is, so this isn't UEFN, this is UE. And the problem was that, oh wait, am I? Yeah, I made a bunch. I don't make maps anymore. I did, you can see all the maps I've made. Bum. Um, you can see all the maps I've made. You can see a lot of the maps I've made. Um, at this. Oh, uh-oh. You can see a lot of the maps I've made here. You cannot see. You can't see the map that I put the most effort into because they just took it. They took it down. But yeah, but I made um, I made 6 maps last year. Um, and they one of them had 40,000 players on it. Um, but um, which code? The code for what? The map code. Well, the map code that I had the most players on was this one. But I don't think anybody plays it anymore. I haven't seen anybody playing on it in a long time. Um, and I mess with it a lot. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of them. That's the most popular one. Um, the most complicated one that anybody plays. Um, I made a lot of really experimental maps. And I'd really hoped that one of them would take off, but it didn't. None of them did. The only one that I consider really creative was called Life Forest. And it was a map designed around a cooperative multiplayer game because I feel like if you're going to build a multiplayer game, it was kind of a multiplayer crafting game, I guess. I don't know. Salvaging and crafting game. And I just tried to build it because I thought it would be cool, and we built it for the UE Game Jam last year. But now, it's people don't play it a lot. But I tried to make some pretty innovative maps, and it just wasn't in the cards, It just wasn't in the cards. Yeah. 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 And that's why I switched back to UE is because I didn't. I guess I could have made mean maps, and if Fortnite, like if UEFN gets mature to the point where I can just make a fun, stupid meme map, I might make a fun, stupid meme map or 2 or 3 just to be like, whatever. But because I could make some fun, I could make some really funny stuff on my own. But it just isn't. It isn't. It was really hard for me that I would spend so much time working on something, and then I'd have to compete with people that were basically gaming the algorithm rather than making a good game. And that, yeah. Like the Roblox maps, no, because like the stuff that UEFN will be able to do will blow Roblox out of the water. Like there are going to be some I'm giving UEFN another year, another 6 months to a year to cook, and then I'll make some like I'll make one or two just like one off like this is funny, this is just funny and fun, and we'll see how it works. But for the moment, I got really really dissatisfied with how specifically like I built I built my maze race map or my it was Lego inspired, I admit it. And Epic just basically was like, you can't have this map. And I kept changing it and changing it and changing it, and they just kept disabling it, and I was done with the fight, and I didn't make enough money. I needed to it needed to be a lot more, for me, a map for it to be worthwhile needed to have 1 million players on it rather than, and the way that is managed and the things that people want are just not stuff I want to churn out and build and build and build and build and build. I just not interested. It didn't feel like I could build a real career doing it. So, so it wasn't it. So I decided to build stuff in, um, uh, oh, I decided to build stuff in UE for a while. Um, huh. Okay. Well, I need to instantiate these now. Uh, yeah, people ask me a lot of questions about how to build. Um, uh, people ask me a lot about how to build specific Roblox maps in Fortnite, and they're like, "Hey, want to team up? I've got lots of players in Roblox," and I'm like, "Well, yes and no. I mean, it's because it just would be it's people who don't program don't realize how much work programming can be, and so they end up dumping 10 times as much work on you as they're willing to do themselves, and that's not fair. And then they don't understand really, um, and I just kind of okay, well, I'm not. I kind of decided I'd go off and do my own thing because it's just so frustrating to try and work with other people. I'd like to instantiate my various objects now. How would I approach that? Game level. How would I approach that? Da, da, da. Oh, wait. Let's see here. Let's see if the build actually worked. It's not. Yes. You would definitely learn a lot if you um, learned UE and went into UEFN, but I actually think that it would be a lot easier to go the other way. So C++ is, without a doubt, significantly more difficult to work with and learn than verse is, by just like an order of magnitude. It's like the difference between learning to build with Legos and learning to build with yeah, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The videos about UE are good, um, but the videos for UEFN are also pretty good, and it's more. There are several reasons for that I would recommend Verse and UEFN first. Um, shit. The primary and the first one is that because UEFN isn't as broadly used, and it's going to be progressively more broadly used. In fact, they're going to sort of they're going to sort of slowly merge UE and UEFN into one program. Um, so over time, your understanding of UE is going to be more, your understanding of UE and UEFN is going to be about the same thing, and learning to work with verse is going to be an advantage because UE is huge. Like, UE is one of the largest programming environments out there. And so learning everything about, I doubt that there is anybody that knows everything about UE. Like, I really doubt that there's anybody that knows literally everything there is to know about UE, because when you look at UE, UE is divided into, okay, so here's all of UE, and then we've got a little box over here, and this is all this is just graphics stuff. All right. And then I mean, yeah, it might help. I mean, the basics in UE and the basics in UEFN are the same. They're exactly the same. The editor is the same. You will definitely be, it would be a little confusing. The way UEFN handles integrating code into the environment is a little difficult for people, because all game programming is really object based, where you have like a game object, and that game object is where the center of things happens. So like if you look at Unreal, okay, I've got this list here of game objects, all right, and the game objects are where all the code comes out of. In UEFN, you have devices. There are game objects, but then hidden behind the game, but those game objects are not really accessible to you in UEFN. You have devices, really, and then static. I don't know if they're referred to as actors. I don't know what they're called. They might be called static actors. But in UEFN, you don't have as much direct power a lot of the time as you do in UE. So it's just a little complicated. And it gets really difficult to sort of figure out. I mean, I honestly think that it's just easier to work with, given previous experience. I think it would be just a lot easier to work with UEFN to start with, and to learn everything in UEFN than to try and jump straight into UE. UEFN is such a nice tool in so many ways that I would, if you're already used to Fortnite Creative, and you can make maps in Fortnite Creative, moving to making maps in UE or UEFN is, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, I'm kind of buried in this other thing, but yeah. Thanks for dropping by, and anytime, I am happy to answer questions. I'm sorry I don't have demos to give you. Like, I wish I had really good demos to give you. Well, I mean, maybe I do. I mean, I'm sorry I'm not right now working in UEFN so I could demo this. But yeah, but I would suggest you try going through my red versus blue map building tutorial. That would be what I would suggest. just try going through that half-hour tutorial and see if that gives you enough of a toehold to move into more UE work or more UEFN work. Let's see here. Okay, so I have all of these things. Whoa, what? Wow. Really? Okay, so let's run a build here. There you go. Okay, build succeeded with warnings. Okay, well, let's. All right. Go. All right. And what are we doing? What are we doing here? We got this. We need all these things in the game field. So let's see here. Where's the okay? Grid manager. What the? This window. It's open. You don't need to reopen it. All right. Well, fine. Round manager. Let's drop a round manager in there, and a game manager, and an enemy spawner, and even an enemy. Okay. And then this goes here. No. Okay, and then we got a manager. The managers all stay here. No, where did it go? Move to enemy spawners. Okay. Whoa. Wow, it doesn't even have a location. Ooh, that's okay. I'm okay with all of that. Round manager, yeah, okay. What did I do? Oh, okay, so I'm just way, way, way away from it. And moving there is going to take me all of eternity. Then it would just go way through, just gonna go right through it. No. Really? Oh, okay, snap view to object. There we go. Okay. And then where is the grid manager? All right, let's just see where. Okay, so I have 2 again? Well, that's interesting. Okay. And oh, how many are here? Okay, so it's 200 tiles. Great. I'm in 2 layers instead of 1. I thought I set this up to be just 1, but let's try that. Okay. Save all. And then we've got a game manager, grid manager, round manager, enemy spawner, enemy spawner, target point. Okay, spawning enemy class is enemy, I think, and target point. Grid manager is grid manager, game manager, game manager. Okay. Round manager needs to have, that's fine. Round manager, game manager, and then enemy spawner needs to have, we're gonna want this to be a list of, round manager. Enemy. Manager.h. Okay. Let's see here. Game manager. Yeah, the game manager starts the round and manages the overall game. Yep. Control Z. That is not what I'm doing. Game manager.h. Game manager.h. Here we go. Game manager.cpp. Right. Okay. I know what that's doing. Enemy spawner. And now is enemy spawner. Enemy initialize game manager and grid manager. Yeah, okay. And then we've got all of that put together properly. And then initialize. Yeah, okay. Great. Let's upsell that. Want it's up high on top of a bookshelf. Enemies using the 8-star Pathfinder. How are the grid cells set up? With XYZ coordinates. Okay. Oh, did I just nuke my grid manager? No. Okay. Um, okay, so game manager initialization, game manager begin play. So game manager. Right, okay. The path, let's start getting the pathfinding in the grid. This thing grid here. Okay, well. Okay. Um, to navigate one. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so enemy. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, all right. Well, go to the next one then. Was that everything? Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. Continue generating. Yes. Whoa. Wow. Okay. So it's got all sorts of issues here. What is this giant monstrosity? Okay. Oh, okay. So it wrote this move to target tile. Oh, okay. So I create the impassable tile class, and it gets a box component that can, yeah, that can't be walked over. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. All right. Hmm. Okay, so it gets a collider, sets up the collider. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, should answer all my questions. All right. Basket tiler H. Go with this, and this is a class. have this, and this impassable tile is impassable tile age, because huh. That should work. Everything else compiles. So we're gonna go with that. And then we're gonna go with dynamic obstacle updates. So quick manager.cpp needs to change. False. Yeah, well, we're gonna comment this out. And okay. As a root component. Um, What? Yeah, shortly. What? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see what the enemy.age class is supposed to do before. The entity class to obtain a reference to a obtain a reference um, to a game manager. Okay, there we go. Fine. Weird. Okay. Um, okay, so now old game manager, grid manager. It's time for me to go feed children and take care of them. This is, enemy.cpp. It's enemy.cpp. It's not emulate. That's not good. Okay. All right. So that was a big, big, big day. Now we're gonna. Here we go. And this, make sure everything compiles.